Oh, a Chicago Bears friend of mine says, don't look at Schefter's Twitter account. It's over.
Yeah.
See you in 2026. Well, thanks for that. Wow. Oh, wow. Yes, it is happening. Yes, it is happening. Jerry Jones is a failure as an owner, an absolute failure as an owner. I don't know any other way to say this. Micah Parsons has been traded to the Green Bay Packers, and this is wow. Wow. Micah Parsons gets, and it's what was reported yesterday, $47 million is what Micah Parsons is going to get. I don't want to say this out loud. I love this trade for the Packers.
Yeah.
I think this vaults the Packers beyond the Detroit Lions. And I think, boy, you start looking at this, Parsons and the Packers have reached an agreement on a 4-year, $188 million deal. The contract includes $120 million fully guaranteed at signing and makes Parsons the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Jake, your immediate reaction?
I mean, deserved. I think deserved. I mean, I think the guy is one of the best players in the NFL. And obviously there's a lot of opinion in that, and there are many in that conversation. But the statement about it vaults them past the Lions. I mean, I think that's an interesting conversation. I think the Lions are a team that obviously lost a lot in the coaching ranks with both your coordinators leaving to take head coaching positions. And so there could be some struggles there with new coordinators and new offenses and all that good stuff. Like there could be some issues there. At the same time, Micah, puts you in a spot where if you're the Packers, now it's a situation where you just need to keep your quarterback healthy. You need to play solid football. Don't try to play hero ball. Be smart with it, and you really should be fine because this division is about as wide open as it could possibly get in the NFL. So if you just play good football, you really should be in a good spot here.
Yeah, and there you see the terms of the deal. This is a seismic shift. And, of course, right as we were about to get into how mediocre TCU is – no, I'm kidding. As soon as we were about to get into TCU, Micah Parsons gets traded, and he has written a letter. Thank you, Cowboy Nation, for every cheer, moment, and ounce of love you showed me. Wearing the star has been the honor of my life, Micah Parsons said. He also said, quote, I never wanted this chapter to end, but not everything was in my control. In other words, F you, Jerry. My heart has always been here, and it still is through it all. I never made any demands. I never asked for anything more than fairness. I never asked for anything other than fairness. I only asked that the person I trust to negotiate my contract be part of the process. Is that really what burned the bridge in Dallas? That the fact that you would not allow Micah Parsons' agent to be part of this negotiation, you're telling me that's what ended this relationship. I am amazed. And as I told you yesterday, Packers are sending 2 first-round picks to the Dallas Cowboys. And that's really what the only other thing that we're waiting for on this is what are the exacts on this. And a frontline starting player, a top 22 from the Packers goes to the Cowboys. So 2 first-round picks and a starting player. We talked about that yesterday being the minimum bar. And certainly it appears that is what it is. Let's get your reaction to this because this is a seismic move in the NFL.
I like the definitiveness of the Packers, the ability to say, hey, we want this guy. There's opportunity. We're going to go get this guy. We're going to pull the trigger on this deal. I mean, this is, I think when you're dealing with Jerry Jones and you're in another organization, you kind of have to get after him in the sense that it's got to be like, hey, this is the deal we want to put together. This is the guy we want. This is what we want to do. Let's get it done. And that appears to be what they did here.
Yeah, I love this deal for the Packers, oddly enough, and sadly. I love this deal for the Packers. I think it's exactly what they should have done. Now you're able to compete with the Detroit Lions, and I think with all the unknowns about Detroit's coaching staff and the chemistry on that team, How good is, Aiden Hutchinson going to be coming off of a really severe, significant leg break? Like, all of these questions, are going to be asked and answered. And we're going to have, essentially 5 months to figure that out. But at the end of this whole thing, nobody is going to accuse the Packers of not trying to win a Super Bowl right here and now, because that's what this kind of move is. And I think we've seen these moves before in the NFL. We've seen them be wild successes. We've also seen them be incredible failures. But I really like this move out of the Packers. I think there is no doubt now. He did that. Micah Parsons got low-end quarterback money.
Mm-hmm.
And I am amazed through this whole thing that you're telling me that Jerry Jones lost Micah Parsons, arguably the best defensive player in the NFL, who's been to a Pro Bowl every year, and you lost him because you didn't want to talk to his agent. I don't understand how this is anything but horrifically damaging to the hopes and dreams of Cowboys, their fans, their front office, to signing free agents, because who on earth is going to want to go to a place where the owner won't talk to your agent?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, and it's only one of two things. It's, the not wanting to talk to his agent thing is the surface level excuse. You either you either had a personal issue with Micah, or you didn't want to pay him. There's not a lot of reasons as to why you wouldn't want to deal with his agent. And listen, I understand that David Mulugheta is one of the most prolific agents in the NFL. There's no question about that. Very good at what he does, paid highly for a reason. But I just think that at some point, if you're Jerry Jones, like, you're going to have to be honest about what exactly it is that you're doing, because just like I said yesterday, I very much have shifted into the camp that this guy is just after attention. And again, I it's just hard for me to believe and get down with the idea that you just let go of a Hall of Famer, one of the best defensive players in the NFL, one of the best guys on your team, one of the most, I would say, selfless guys on the team, because he could have made an issue when you didn't pay him first and re-up him first, because he was clearly deserved at that time, right? And you've been having this conversation for 2-3 years now.
Man.
So I just sit here and I say, what is the real reason Jerry Jones does things the way he does? Because it's not that he didn't want to deal with the agent.
It's incompetence. I don't know what other word, and I know you guys are probably sick and tired.
In what sense do you think?
Incompetence as a football man and an owner of a franchise, and understanding you have arguably the best defensive player in the NFL, and you just traded him because you didn't want to talk to his agent. You're either stupid, he's not. You don't get to be where Jerry Jones is and be stupid.
Right.
You're arrogant. You are stubborn and obstinate.
Certainly.
And you are incompetent as a professional football executive. That's the only word I've ever been able to come up with, because I don't think Jerry Jones is unintelligent. But what is it about Jerry that time and again, whether it's Micah, whether it's CeeDee Lamb, whether it's Dak Prescott, pick your poison. You invest in guys like Leighton Vander Esch, who turn around and put a thumb in your ass with injuries, but you won't pay Micah Parsons.
And I'm a vampire feeding off mass disappointment.
You invested in Leighton Vander Esch, but you won't invest in Micah Parsons, or you wanted to, but you didn't want to do it talking to his agent. And I just don't. Yes. I'd like to thank Jared for being incompetent. Otherwise, we'd be stuck pretending anyone actually cares about Nebraska and Cincinnati. God damn it, yes.
Okay.
I actually do care about that.
Yeah, that's a little rough to say nobody cares about Nebraska and Cincinnati. I would completely agree with you, Gabe, if you said stuck, pretending like anybody cared about Scott Satterfield in the Natty. Yeah, I don't care about that program, with all due respect. Yeah. I care about Nebraska and what they're doing.
Bryce Martin, like I said a few weeks ago, this was all a scumbag move from Jerry to corner Micah and hold negotiations while intentionally cutting out the middleman. Like, man,
but that doesn't exist.
I just don't know why you do that.
Like cutting out the middleman.
But I hope people understand the way this works in the NFL. And Saquon was a great example of this on Hard Knocks, right? The GM and the player do not speak. because they need to have a rock solid relationship. And one of the things that is a hallmark of the best football executives is it's not personal between you and the player. Is it personal between you and Mulugeta? Oh, damn right. Between you and Rosenhaus, between you and Scott Boras in baseball? You're damn right it is. Does that mean you need to alienate and destroy your relationship with the player so he's sleeping on an equipment box during a preseason game? No, it does not. And while it nothing excuses Micah's behavior in that moment, damn it, it's just come to a point where you can no longer look past the old man and his senility when it comes to trading the best defensive player, in my opinion, one of the best defensive players in the entire National Football League, and you gave him away. Now, granted, you got 2 ones and supposedly a very high player. That's great. But none of the 3 of the people that you're going to get out of this, and likely you can combine them, they will not be as good as Micah Parsons. That's the bottom line here. There's no way to excuse this. And if you're the Detroit Lions, if you're the LA Rams, think about the other teams, the Buffalo Bills that were a good fit for this. Like, it's incredible. And if I just look at how this move, I'm not going to say transforms the Packers. Jordan Love is going to transform or not the Packers. Micah Parsons takes the pressure off of Jordan Love. He takes the pressure off of that secondary. And in my opinion, if you're a contender, that division now is I think the Packers and the Lions. I with all due respect to my beloved, we're not competing for that division this year. We're not with Micah Parsons in Green Bay. And I look at the rest of the NFC. How do you trade Micah Parsons in the conference? Help me understand that. How on earth do you trade Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers when you know that that's an organization who wants to win a Super Bowl every year, and maybe that's what your aspiration is, and you just made that road much more difficult by trading him in the conference? I don't know. That's one of the things that I just do not understand in any way, shape, or form about how this whole thing will go down.
Mm-hmm.
I will never understand it.
Well, I think what we do know is that we'll hear from Jerry on it. You know, Jerry will come out with some story or some narrative, or he'll spin this into, hey, I did Micah a favor or whatever. Like, we'll never know the true the true reason. But that's that's what I expect. I expect Jerry to try to spin this and try to make himself look good. And the thing that bothers me is just that, again, I agree with what Micah said in the letter. He deserves it. This is not one of those guys that you try to stiff, right? I mean, this is the classic Michael Clayton moment, right? Like, don't you know who I am? Like, I'm not the guy you try to kill. I'm the guy you try to pay off. Like, this is Micah Parsons, a Hall of Famer, best player on your defense and arguably on the team. All due respect to Dak. So I don't know what it's going to take for Jerry Jones to ever, turn around, right? Or ever like run this thing in a reasonable, reasonable way, logical way. Because as much as I think he's after the attention, at some point, don't you get tired of losing? I mean, you would think at some point with the investment in this team, you would get tired of losing at some point.
Yeah. And you know what the biggest problem here is? That Micah Parsons is going to cover up for what is the single worst unit on the Green Bay Packers, which is the corners. Right? You look at the offense, their offensive line is fine. Matthew Golden's I think he's going to be the rookie of the year. I think he's going to be a breakout candidate. I think Josh Jacobs is really strong. Like, I mean, I look at some of the moves they made in the draft, like, great. Their single biggest weakness was corner. So you go and get one of the most disruptive players in the NFL, and I think this is an incredibly good move for the Green Bay Packers. And I look at this division, and again, I go back to Detroit, and I'll just keep telling you guys, there's a lot of unknowns about this Detroit Lions football team, and their biggest weakness, in my opinion, is depth at the edge. They do not have depth. I mean, what do you do with the spot where Zadarius Smith was, right? Like, I look at this and I say to myself, yes, the Aiden Hutchinson injury really made a negative impact on their pass rush. How could it not?
Mm-hmm.
But you never replace that. And I think when you look at the fact that they led the NFL, PFF, Pro Football Focus, had them as the number one pass rush until Hutch got hurt. And now you look at this, they produced the fourth worst pass rush grade in the NFL after his injury. And Zadarius Smith is not even on the team anymore, and he was your top pass rusher after the Hutchinson injury. So I think you have some real questions on this defense, and there's a lot of people guessing or wondering about the secondary in Detroit as well, because they all season long continued to be prone to give up big plays. We're going to find out, because I think that Packer offense versus that Detroit defense, that's going to be the storyline of the NFC North all season long now.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to get Hutchinson to get back. You got to make sure that he is the guy he won't be the same guy he was. You don't break your leg like that and inside of 18 months be the same human being.
Yeah, that's tough.
And exactly. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
He probably will not be, because I think PFF had him rated at a 95.5. He ain't going to be that guy this year. He is not going to be that guy. But if you can get him into the high 80s, low 90s for a pass rush grade, that's more than enough, because his 95.5 is better than just about anybody else in the league.
I would agree with that. Except
Micah Parsons. And I think now you add Micah Parsons, and my God, this is a huge, huge moment. I think it is a huge moment. Dana Marie says, love the shirts, guys. Looking good. Yeah. I'm surprised nobody's commented on the pink polo today. I've got the pink Hawaiian polo. Got on the scale today. I've lost 15 pounds in 4 weeks officially now.
Yes.
Like, we're moving in the right direction. The body fat's coming down.
Nice.
Wasikowski, Brad Holmes is screwing it up already. You're already off the Brad Holmes bandwagon. Are you serious? How long has he even been there? I mean, he's fine. You're really come on, man.
What is he? Are you saying he's messing this up because he didn't get Micah, or what are you saying?
I think he's done a really good job. I mean, I understand that and they're getting too big for his britches after the Stafford trade. That was 3 years ago now. Come on, man. I think this was, by any definition, this was a very expensive trade.
Mm-hmm.
I think. So I don't know that I would be saying that the Lions in their front office and Brad Holmes is screwing it up. I agree you should have added another pass rusher. Did Zadarius sign with anybody? Like, I mean, I don't know that I would say he's screwing it up.
I think that's a little harsh, bro.
Yeah. I don't think that I would, I don't, my guess is that they will bring him back, and he is still a free agent. I shouldn't say that. I don't even know if they're talking, but my guess is they will bring him back. He's a perfect fit for what they do. And you need depth there. That's in my opinion.
Yesterday, Brad Holmes said they hadn't had any talks with him recently.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Well, see, there you go. That's why I should shut my face, right? That's too bad, because I think that's a big deal. I think that is a very big deal. And, Wasikowski, explain that scenario. What do you mean?
No, it's sentiment.
Sentiment. I'm sorry. I said scenario. Fuchsia is the color. See, Mrs. Monty and I had a conversation today before I left the crib. I said, this is more, I feel like the right way to call it. It's not pink. It's too hot to be pink. I was like, I feel like it's a violet pink. She's like, no, it's fuchsia.
Okay.
Where's the black shirt? I'm trying to diversify a little bit, because people.
Yeah, the funeral attire is still in the closet.
I have and I've taken to buttoning up my polo shirts.
See?
But you guys may or may not know. Like, I have a black T-shirt on. should I leave it unbuttoned or button it? Probably leave it either way. Okay, that's fine. Micah Parsons 24 sack total plus Caleb Williams sack total equals Caleb Williams sacked 80 times in 2025. No, he's just sacked 80 times in the Lions game, or excuse me, the Packer game. Ooh, Freudian slip. Bubblegum pink. Okay. Waz says he's afraid to pull the trigger. Missed out on Hendrickson, failed on Garrett. I don't think that they were going to trade Hendrickson because Hendrickson, I don't think wanted to be traded. I truly don't believe that in any normal world that he wanted to be traded. I think he wanted to, I think he wanted a new deal. I do not believe that he wanted to be straight up traded out of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Because that deal never got close. So, I mean, these deals are not easily done. They really are not. Monty is diversifying his wardrobio. I'm trying. Diversifying shirts brings out diversifying bots. Not NFL, but NCAA this time.
Well, you guys asked for him yesterday. You asked for him yesterday. Oh, where are all the bots, Monty? Well, here they are.
Here they are. Cowboys at Eagles spank. Thank you, sir. May I have another spank? Well, why is yeah. Okay. Very interesting.
Not wrong.
By the way, we miss seeing Mrs. Monty. What's going on? Do you have her locked away somewhere? No, she's a career professional woman.
Like she has a job and stuff. Like, she's kind of important.
Wow, boy, did I get the Packer trade right yesterday. Kenny Clark is the player going back to Dallas and 2 first-round picks. I don't know anything about nothing. I think Holmes has proven that he's not interested in paying big money to bring in outside talent. They've clearly decided to pay big money only to their homegrown talent, and I love it. Well, that's the way you win over a long, protracted amount of time. But what you don't do is win Super Bowls. You win enough, you just don't win the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
And it's been proven over time in the National Football League that you have to go and you got to go find the cherry on top, right? And I don't mean at the strip club. You have to go find the Matthew Stafford to your LA Rams, right? You got to go find the Tom Brady to your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? You need to go find that complementary piece. And I think a lot of times what happens is when you invest only in your homegrown talent, you wind up in a place where the Patriots were, where the Kansas City Chiefs are. You're paying a bunch of dudes a ton of money, and you're hoping that Xavier Worthy can come through and be a number 1 wide receiver because you traded Reek so you didn't have to pay him, right? Like you make these switches. It's where the Buffalo Bills are in those hot-ass new uniforms that we'll talk about. But I think at some point you have to find the cherry on top. Now, is that Micah Parsons for the Green Bay Packers? We'll find out if they can cover well enough. Yeah. And if he can hide the moles on the face of that secondary, because if he does, they're gonna win the NFC. They instantly become an NFC contender now. And I don't know that I would have. In fact, I know I didn't say that the other day when we talked about it. Rock and Rant. Jimmy Johnson accomplished a ton on the football field without Jerry Jones, but Jerry Jones never accomplished anything in football without Jimmy Johnson. Well, one of the worst owners in sports now. Your boy Jimmy Johnson. I am very lucky. I spent a lot of time with Jimmy back in the day. And the stories are interesting. The Troy Aikman stories are interesting. The Michael Irvin stories are interesting. Like, and I'm not trying to pile on Jerry, but I feel like everything broke perfectly for him to win and have that dynasty in Dallas. Because the way he went in was horrendous. And he went through this arc where they didn't miss on a draft pick during the dynasty years. And Jimmy wanted to do it his way, and for your billions, do it your way, bro. But now it's unquestioned that you're in real trouble here. Totally. How many games does the Cowboys drop from with this trade in their over-under? It's got to be a game and a half minimum. I mean, Kenny Clark's no slouch, though. Let's not act like they got nothing in return. They got a haul.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 to 3 games or so.
Game and a half. Game and a half. When you're talking about one player swinging 2 games, I don't think you can say that about one player amongst 106, right? I just don't think you can do that over a 2-game stretch unless it's a quarterback. And as much as I love Micah's game on the field, there are a lot of problems in that Dallas salary cap. A lot. And again, I would point out, CeeDee Lamb has not proven to be a big game performer. Dak is not, in my opinion, got enough weapons around him because they don't have the money to pay. Are you going to pay somebody now? Like, you can't tell me that Jared's just going to sit here on his balls and do nothing. He looks like a jackass today.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a complete and total failure, and he is. But, I mean, I think much to Rock and Rant's points, like, I just feel like they won in spite of, like, Barry Switzer didn't win a Super Bowl. He did. No, he didn't. Right? Like, let's not get carried away about what Jera means to this team and how much Jera was involved. Did he draft guys and cut checks? Sure he did. But I don't think there's anybody in their right mind who's going to be like, oh, Barry Switzer, holy cow.
Right.
What a job he did.
Yeah.
No. To me, and you weren't even boiling in the bag at that point. So, King of Thailand, Jimmy Johnson was on Major's staff when Pitt won the national championship. Okay, very typical way to stay on brand. I like it. The Buffalo Hunter, Jera's dynasty was luck. He's done nothing for 30 years. Totally agree. Hot ass. Hey, doesn't Oak State play today? Not that anybody gives a rat's ass, but
yeah, why? Yeah,
I think Oak State plays your mom's sewing circle.
Hot ass.
Well, because isn't that where that drops from? Isn't that
because this team is just hot ass.
Yeah, sideline reporter guy.
Yeah. You know,
calling Oklahoma State hot ass.
You know, I love Jimmy Johnson, but he never won a Super Bowl in Miami. Jerry did with Switzer, but facts. Was says at some point Brad has to go and get a Parsons or a Clark. Yeah, I think you do. I don't disagree with you, dude. But
that doesn't mean he's done a bad job, bro.
What I think you have to do is, and the trade deadline in the NFL, I think now is more significant than it's ever been. I mean, if you look at some of the deals that have happened in recent years mid-season, we never used to see deals like that in the NFL. I think that's changing. And don't forget, we have another week before the season kicks off. I think a lot could happen. But, I mean, if you're the Bears, Vikings, and Lions, I mean, the Bears are not going to go get crazy and spend money because, frankly, you don't need to. I think you're the Vikings. You're too young. You're not a Super Bowl contender anyway. I would agree with Eric that it's what are the Lions going to do to retort here? Because I think you have to do something. The Dallas salary cap was not the issue. Well, but I think the question is, you can't continue to go year after year after year with zero flexibility on your cap. I mean, at some point, flexibility and the ability to be pliable to address actual team needs has to matter.
Yeah.
And how many guys have you not paid and then paid too late and have crippled your ability to be pliable? I mean, because that's where we are with the Dallas Cowboys at this point.
Man, they've done it multiple times over.
I don't know. I don't know how you look at this cap, right? And we sit here and we say to ourselves, okay, you're paying $32 million in dead cap money this year, right? You're just looking at a situation now where now you have real flexibility, but you're paying Dak $50.5 million. That's his cap number this year. You're paying CeeDee Lamb $15.3 million. You're paying CeeDee Lamb top wide receiver money, and he's not been a top wide receiver, right? So you start looking at guys like Terrence Steele. Okay, at least that's a tackle, right? But tell me this isn't a huge year for Trayvon Diggs. Like, you got to become the dude they paid you $12 million to be. That's the problem. And it's not now. because now you have a little cap space, right? Now you have some room, but you got to find a way to, bro. You got to find a way to. What's the right way to say it? You got to find a way to put guys on the field that are going to bring fans back to the stadium, because if we're just going to sit here and we're going to pretend that, it's the Cowboys, fans will show up. Dallas Cowboy fans historically sell their tickets and don't show up to games when this team is bad. And I think that's very difficult. And I'm just looking at the numbers, dude. It is not pretty about some of the money that it just is going to be very difficult, in my opinion, for the Dallas Cowboys to compete. They're going to need a pretty significant makeover. And again, we said this when he signed the deal, you probably are going to have to trade Dak Prescott this offseason if that's possible. And I think it's going to be very difficult to do. I think it is going to be very difficult to do. And my God, I just don't know. Like, I look at the Lions because I think that they're the team that is most impacted outside of the Packers and Cowboys. And I just think you're going to have a real tough time trying to figure out how to make this thing go in a lot of different spaces, because you have a lot of money tied up. But hey, listen, we can go back and forth. The Buffalo Hunter, Dak is paid to elevate others like Mahomes does, and he's not capable. Well, he is capable of it. But see, what you lack here in context is Patrick Mahomes has a really good offensive line. He has a system that is built for his talent, with one of the greatest head coaches in the history of the NFL. And you simply put, do not have that in Dallas. You're on the carousel in Dallas, and you are going to continue to struggle with this. And I just don't know how you say that Dak is not capable of it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty rough, bro. I think that lacks all appreciation for the situation. And, I mean, yes, Dak has some talent on the offensive side, but at the same time, like, it's all about the play calling, all about the situation. We all know that.
Yeah, I just think now when you look at these teams, the Lions are going to have to spend some of that cap space that they have. And I understand that they're a little reticent to do that. And I know that next year is a very difficult year, because next year they don't have cap space, but you're going to have to figure out, you have a $279.2 million cap right now, and a lot of beyond the, isn't it? I think it's, and I should look it up, but I think it's Texans, Bills, Giants, and I can't remember the fourth team are over the cap. The other ones are not. Falcons are the other team. But you need a makeover in Dallas. And the question is, who's going to be the fall guy? And inevitably, it is going to be Dak Prescott, because it'll never be Jerry. Dallas is America's team when they are winning. They certainly are. Google tells me Oak State spread 25.5. Take Oak State or take Tennessee Martin. Tennessee Martin, you always take the dog when it's that much.
Tennessee Martin to cover.
I don't think there's any doubt. There is no doubt. And look at that. Trayvon Martin, I said Trayvon Martin. Wow. Trayvon Diggs tweeting a broken heart emoji. They do not have to trade Dak next year due to the cap. I never said it was because of the cap. I said it's because you're going to need to make over that roster. And when you're paying a guy, what is Dak Prescott's?
Mike, why are you so are you so perturbed? Like, are you a Cowboys fan, or like what am I missing with this?
Do you understand? Here's Dak Prescott's cap numbers over the next 3 years. $50 million this year, 74 next year, 25% of your cap, 68 and 27, and 78 in 28. You are either going to renegotiate that deal or you are going to trade him. And My guess is you will wind up trading him because that number is untenable when you're trying to build a roster. I mean, there's just I don't know.
Yeah, maybe this is the beginning of the fallout, right? The beginning of the, hey, we did a bunch of bad deals at the wrong time, way late, and now we're dealing with it, you know?
Dude, nobody has ever said they didn't have money to pay him. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're listening to, but you're not hearing what I'm saying because I never said they didn't have the money. I said Jerry has wasted significant money on guys and overpaid them. And it has put him in a situation where if you want to win a Super Bowl, this is not what your cap can look like. You know who's the example of winning a Super Bowl? The San Francisco 49ers had a golden opportunity with Brocktober when he was on a rookie deal and they couldn't get the job done. Those are you look at Buffalo, you look at Baltimore. Why do you think Baltimore was so reticent to pay Lamar? Because you start looking at what contracts do. The Cowboys are the poster child for bad contract management. There's no doubt you overpaid Dak Prescott. There's no question. Do you understand? Do you guys understand his base salary? I think this year isn't it like $2 million? And he's got a $48 million signing bonus this year because you're already restructuring his deals. Do you like that's how bad his contract is? And you start looking at the fact that they're going to do that with CeeDee Lamb. They're going to have to do that again with come on, like nobody said they didn't have the money.
Oh, he. Okay, I've deciphered our problem here. He's not saying you said that. He's saying Oak State. James said that.
Well, there you go.
So now we figured it out.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
David Humes. Hello, David Humes. Good to see you. Look at my Dolphins with the stupid Tua deal. My God.
But again, I think this conversation around like paying quarterbacks, like Tua is an interesting case study because I think we could all agree, Tua is a guy that you can say, yeah, I don't know if I want you to be my franchise quarterback. Like left-handed, prone to concussions, don't take care of yourself. Like probably not a guy I want to invest in, But there's a lot of these guys in these organizations where you don't really have a choice. And the issue with Jerry,
I would agree
is that yeah, you want Dak to be your franchise guy, obviously, but why did you wait so long to pay him? Why wait so long and just watch the price keep going up? Like, what was the strategy there? So
I'll never understand it.
Certainly, we're not saying that they don't have the money. The money's not the problem, like the available money in your account's not the issue. The issue is how you're handing this money out and what you're committing to. And I completely agree. They're going to have to restructure that contract because you're not paying a single player on a football team $70+ million a year. That's not happening.
Yeah, it's tough. And I look at the Dolphins when you look at salary cap numbers, and I've talked to a bunch of NFL executives about this. Like Mike Tannenbaum's a really good example of a guy who, when you just look at the shape that a cap is in, and if that team is winning and losing, and when you look at the Miami Dolphins, right? The Dolphins are in purgatory. They're 24th in the NFL in salary cap, right? And you look at teams that have cap space, they've got $5 million in cap space. Okay, well, why is that? Because Tua's cap hit is $39.1 million. Tyreek Hill is $27 million in a cap hit. Jalen Phillips, 13.2. Bradley Chubb, 12.3. What do all four of those guys have in common? They have missed significant time. You are paying, what is that? Like 20, 37% of your salary cap not to play games. Do you know any team that can write off 37% of the salary cap and be competitive? I mean, that is flipping wild. And then you realize who's the backup quarterback in Miami. Anybody? Bueller? Zach Wilson. Like,
a MILF hunter.
You're in a really bad spot. And so anyway, my point is with the Cowboys, and The Dallas Cowboys continue to make really bad decisions. And you again look at where they are now and what their cap looks like. And you start understanding now, I think after this trade, and I would have to do the math if you take Micah's deal off of there, I think it gives them something like $40 million, right, in cap space. But the problem is when you get to 2026, that number starts going down. And 2027, you have a just, I mean, you need to trade or rework Dak's contract so that you can bring in significant depth. That's let's just not belabor the point.
Yeah.
I think that's where you are, in my opinion. They cannot trade Dak without his permission. He has a no trade, but I don't think he would even hesitate. The biggest issue is going to be, will a team take that deal? And it's going to be tough to do that because when you start looking at his money and his numbers, and as I said, I mean, his cash this year is $48 million, dude. Like, god damn,
getting paid,
right? Like, and do you guys understand that he's made? I think I saw on ESPN he's made like almost $300 million. The Dallas Cowboys have paid Dak Prescott $300 million. And gotten what? Right? As much as I think he's a fantastic thrower of the football, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what you do with that deal, right? And yeah, he has a, what you have to understand is he's got a full no trade and a full no tag. So it is, teams want that. What they don't want is $48 million a year in cash. And this last year and this year, it's an all cash deal because his base salary is like $2 million. So my point is, I think you're going to have to find a way to.
What kind of deal is that? Like,
well, because it was a terrible contract to begin with. It just never made sense. And what was it? A 4-year, $240 million deal? Something like that. I mean, $80 million signing bonus, $231 million guaranteed at signing. Okay. Like,
yeah,
that's fine. $50 million in dead cap. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain and understand the strategy or the logic behind it all. You know, I mean, you can get lost in the cap. You can look at all the numbers and you can be like, oh, why'd they do X, Y, and Z? But the reality is, however you want to spin it, man, the facts of the case is that you can't pay everybody. And you mess this up to the point where now you've traded Micah to an NFC, at a minimum, an NFC contender, and a lot of years, a team that will knock you out, just like they did recently. And now we're going to get to see you match up with them, and, Micah's going to have his day. So, nice job, Jera.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Micah Parsons is a Green Bay Packer. Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks go back to the Dallas Cowboys in the deal. I think it is absolutely a huge win for the Green Bay Packers, and I think it is a demoralizing kick in the balls for the Dallas sports fan again. Because you've lost Luka, and now you've lost Micah. And it's guys that you revere. And I think it's really, really tough to let that sink in. And I think, yes. It's getting tougher and tougher in Dallas to get on board with Cowboys, letting guys like DeMarcus Lawrence, who was a wildly popular player, right? Like, Jerry at some point is going to have to move, I don't know. We'll see. Just like last year, they have triggers in his contract that they can reduce the cap without even renegotiating. Team push the cap forward. Some are just better at it, like the Eagles. Yeah, and I think when you look at when I say Dak, the first year they can really get out of that deal is 2029. And I'm doing quick math in my head where your cap is less than $50 million. Like, because I think next year he's even $129 million in dead cap. Like, it's just a really tough thing to do. So yeah, there's that. And oh, by the way, we have college football. Boise State, and I got the Boise game on. Do they miss Ashton Ginty? Okay, you're an asshole. Of course they do. Right? Like, of course they do.
Early returns are controversial. They miss Ashton Ginty.
But I'm watching this, and I am telling you, I don't know how this team will compete on a regular basis this year. Because just early in this, I mean, Maddox Madsen is 6 of 9 for 27 yards.
Man, wow. Really lighting it up.
And Malik Sherrod is we'll see, 4 carries, 15 yards. That's a 3.8 yard average. And that's not good. That's not good. And the Cubs just got swept. Fucking A. Yeah, I should just turn off the multi-panel, and I'm telling you,
just put it on the Boise State game. Don't watch the Cubs.
Team is enough that I need a nail gun, and I need some like high velocity roofing nails, and just put them through the bag, dude. Like, because that's what Cubs baseball in this series has been. The Giants are one of the worst teams in the National League right now, and did not even get close to winning a game.